Hi, it's Rico and welcome back to Brooklyn Cooking. Today we're going to do pizza and we'll start off with making a pizza dough. Basically I'm starting off here with 4 cups of flour. I'm using 3.5 cups of bread flour and a half a cup of semolina flour. You could use all bread flour. What would be great with this is the Italian double O flour, but I don't have that now and I guess most people won't. So I'm gonna go with bread flour. I like to measure by weight. Even though I'm saying it's 4 cups, a cup of bread flour is 120 grams, so I have here 420 grams of bread flour. Semolina flour is a little heavier, 163 to a cup, and I got 82 grams of semolina flour. To that I'll add, I mixed it together, a teaspoon of sugar and 2 teaspoons of salt. And today I'm using, I use instant yeast now. Most people will find active dry yeast or use active dry yeast. It's a little easier. The difference between instant yeast and active dry yeast is instant yeast you don't have to proof or bloom. You could just add it to the dry ingredients like I just did. With active dry yeast you have to first bloom in some warm water and make sure it's active and then add it to your pot. Also we're going to go 2 tablespoons of olive oil, good extra virgin olive oil, not the best extra virgin olive oil in the world, but a good one. Then we'll add water. I have here a little less than 1.5 cups of water, which I measured out to be 325 grams of water. We'll get the mixer set up. We're going to use the KitchenAid mixer, make our life a little easier, and then we're going to knead it a little bit. All right, we have all our dry ingredients in the bowl. We're going to, first you should mix it up, get the salt and the sugar and the yeast all distributed evenly. And then we're going to go with the dough hook. We'll put that in, we'll raise the bowl, and we'll start it off slow, just to get things mixed up. Then we'll add the water. And the olive oil. Alright, this is on the mix. It's going to come together as a ball. We're going to, after it goes a little bit, we're going to speed it up. Once it pulls away from the bowl and forms a ball around the hook, we're good to go, and then we'll knead it a little bit. Good thing about this is if it's too sticky, add a little more flour. If it's too dry, add a little more water. So we're going to speed it up a bit. That's what you're looking for, it to come together like that. So we'll knead it some more. Okay, this is pulling away from the bowl nicely, not sticking. I didn't add any of the flour yet. I'll probably maybe add a little as I'm kneading. We're going to shut this off and clear up some space. Alright, we're ready to knead this a little bit. I got a little ceramic tile here, make my life a little easier. I'll just dust it slightly. Pull the dough out. We'll start kneading it a little bit. Actually feels pretty good. Just give it a push out, turn it 90 degrees, and keep doing this for a while. Okay, that seems pretty good. Now we have to let this rise. We're going to let this rise till it about doubles in size, which will take hopefully about an hour. So we're going to just put a little olive oil in here. Spread it around. And dump it in here and give it a coating. I'm going to cover this with a damp cloth You could use plastic wrap, whatever you like. We're going to leave this out at room temperature until it doubles in size. If it's warmer, it will rise quicker. I'll try to keep it anywhere from 70 to 80 degrees. You can even put this in the refrigerator and let it rise overnight. But we want pizza today, so we're going to leave this out until it doubles. It's been just about an hour. We'll see where we stand. Whoa, baby. Look, it about double. We're going to take this out. And I'll work it a little bit. We'll put it in a log. This is a little too big for pizza. All right, we're going for about 300 grams. That's just about there. Oh no. Looks good. Let's see what we got left. Pretty good. A little less. About 280. So, just want to put these into a bowl. This is not the final. We want to pinch them together at the bottom a little bit. Roll them out. And there's one. You got two. Just keep tying them up. Squeeze them together. And we got three. Put them on a plate. I'm going to oil the plate a little bit. And we're going to give it its final rise. We got one. We got two. And we got three. Cover them with damp towel or plastic wrap. All right, we'll wait about an hour. They'll go for a second rise. Once they rise, after an hour, we're ready to roll them out and bake. Alternatively, right now you can put these in the refrigerator, refrigerate them overnight till tomorrow, and do it tomorrow. Just, let them stay out a little bit. But that's fine, sometimes even better. But we're doing this, we're hungry. All right, these are what we're going to bake on. What I was baking on is these, those pizza stones. I don't like, they crack all the time. I get these in the tile store. They're unglazed clay tiles, carrot toro they call them. This is a 6x6. You go 3 and 3. You got a nice 18x18. I'm a little short. I had do a little cutting. All right, this is a new toy I have. This is a baking steel. I got it for bread actually, but supposedly most people use it for pizza. This is very heavy. This thing is at 15x15 and it's 12 pounds. It's terrific. I'll give you the link to get these if you want them. They're a Dojo, baking steel, and for both of these we have to heat the oven up and let it go for at least a half hour, probably an hour. So we're going to set to 500 degrees. We'll let it get to temperature. We'll let it really get hot for about an hour. By the time this heats up for an hour, our doughs should be ready. They'll rise an hour, perfect timing, and we'll be ready to go. It's been an hour, maybe a little more. Let's see what we got. See how well they rose. So we're going to take a little, since we got some semolina in there, we're going to take some semolina flour and start rolling these out, or shaping them, I should say. I just press down on the middle, go around the edges, whatever you do. A little more flour. I'm going to try to get these out nice and thin. Sometimes they cooperate, sometimes they don't. So then we'll go like this. Right. Do a big light shot. Whoa, baby! Still got those shortstop hands. You could cheat, get out a rolling pin, but we're not going to do that. Now this one, we're going to cheat a little bit. We're going to par cook it, or I would call a boobly. We just don't put a little sauce on this. Just a drop. We're not going to put this one on the steel to par cook it because that may be a little too hot. And nice and slide. Go in the oven, and we're going to put this one on the tire. I just cooked this for about a minute just to set the bottom a little. It makes it easier to work with. And also, the real reason I do it, when you have to make a lot, you have an oven one at a time, you could do these in advance. You know, do 5 or 6 in advance and then finish them later on. So that's my real purpose of it. Not to make it easier to work with, but really to go more like an assembly line later on. All right, this one we're going to do the pizza place way. We're going to put everything on it and just cook it one time. We're going to put this one on the baking steel. Hopefully we have good results. Now baking steel, part of the issues with this, I don't have an oven with a top broiler. So it's a little issue cooking with this. If you have an oven that the oven part has a top broiler, just make this beautiful. So we're going to take the cheese. Got some fresh mozzarella that I grated up. So I will probably have to bake this on the steel for a couple of minutes and then flip it under the broiler. You know, I got a separate broiler because I got a gas oven. I don't know if gas ovens come with top broilers. I'm sure they do somewhere. I'll take some Parmesan Reggiano. As they say, the king of cheeses. I kind of like the Lucatelli Romano, but this is what my hand hit. I like to dab the top with a little sauce. Now before you go to the oven, you want to make sure this is sliding. You're looking good. So I'll put this right on the steel. Baby, I love it. We got to get this oven closed. We want the heat. Actually doing pretty good. Don't throw it under the broiler for a minute. Now that looks beautiful. It was probably on the steel for about 5 minutes and under the broiler for 2. Came out looking pretty good. We're going to let it sit for a couple of minutes so when we cut it, the whole thing don't just spread apart. Once it cools off a little bit, we'll cut it and give it a try. Just rest it for a few minutes. It's ready to cut and eat. Go through. I'll make these in 6s. And we'll take one. Pretty good. Got some nice air bubbles in there. Delicious. She's been good all day. We got a taste tester here. Perfect. Okay, here's one more dough. This is not the dough I just made. This is the dough I made the other day. This is a sourdough pizza dough. When you make a sourdough pizza dough, you don't use yeast. You actually keep a starter on hand, the sourdough starter. But telling you how to do this is way beyond the scope of what I do. There's a great guy who does this. He's called the Foodgeek. Go to foodgeek.com if you want to get into sourdough baking, breads, and pizzas. I'll set a link to his sourdough pizza dough, and you could look at it. But there's no way to explain. It's basically the same thing, but instead of yeast, you're using the starter, and starter is a whole different ballgame. I'll put sauce on here. Again, this will be a one cook thing. This one we'll put the Parmesan on first. It's a little easy on the cheese with this one. And then we'll dot it a little bit. And this one we'll give it a little hit of olive oil. Very light. And this will go right back on the steel. Sliding good. Success. This is the partially cooked one. Now, nice and easy to finish it off. You don't have to worry about sticking to your peel. Just makes it easier and faster if you're having a party and you got to do 5 or 6 pizzas. You can get them all pre-cooked and then just kind of line them up and boom, 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 get them done. This will be a pepperoni lover's pizza. We got plenty of pepperoni for a little pie. And this one we'll put back on the stone. And we'll see how the other one's doing. One on the steel needs a little more time, but we'll let it go. You know, this baking steel is new for me. It's really, first I used it last night as a test with one pizza, but I didn't have to put this under the broiler. Actually, this looks great. The bottom looks perfect. And as Art Connie said, poor little pizza ain't good for nothing. This seems a lot crispier than the other pie I took out. I'm very happy with it. This one seems a lot crispier. And it is a lot crispier. Really, really very happy. So I like crispy pizza. So does she, but ain't getting any more. Pepperoni's out of the oven. I started on the stone, but the last few minutes I did on the steel, and it did a nice job of crisping it up. And that's it. Okay, it's a wrap. Pizza 3 ways. I really like the way it came out on the pizza steel, and the sourdough was pretty good. I'll leave links for both the sourdough pizza and the baking steel in the comments. Anybody's interested, you know, go look at it. So if you like pizza, who doesn't like pizza? And if you like Brooklyn pizza, is there another kind? Hit the subscribe button and the like button, and Arrivederci from Brooklyn Cookins. See you next time.